Hi there! Today I have a special unboxing and building video of, you guessed it, the WALL-E and EVE BrickHeadz set. Now, as you might have guessed, I am a huge fan of WALL-E, and every year on June the 27th we celebrate WALL-E Day to celebrate the year that the movie was released in theaters. So this year, as of 2024, WALL-E is now 16 years old. So I'll just show you the box a little bit. Now, if you don't know, BrickHeadz are kind of Lego's version of Funko Pops. They're collectible, tiny figures about 2 or 3 inches tall, and they're all very cute. And normally their eyes are about the same size as Eve's here, just one circular stud, but WALL-E's eyes are really big, which adds to his cuteness, so I think this set will turn out really nicely. Okay, I previously cut this up, so we can look inside and see what we have. Okay, we have separate manuals for WALL-E and for EVE. These might have been intended to be separate sets. Oh, actually they're not, because they have the exact same number. So I'm not sure why they decided to use 2 different manuals. Yep, and it looks here like the bases for the characters are the only thing not bagged. Okay, so let's start with EVE. If I can get this open, there we go. Now the bags are numbered, but just based on the colors, I can pretty easily tell who is who. It's pretty obvious there. Okay, let's begin. Easy first step. Now here are some interesting pieces I have not seen a lot. These are not studs, but these are 2 studs high, which is very interesting. Although I have not been building or collecting Legos that much in recent years, so these new pieces might be new to me. Oh, this is a cool addition. Now normally, what you would find in not Funko Pops, the Lego BrickHeadz, you'll normally find that they have the character's brain inside. And while it might be a creepy element that they add, they can do some funny Easter eggs with that thing. So one thing they're doing with EVE, it seems, is that they are adding a little tiny plant piece inside EVE, which makes sense because she captures the plant inside her body in the first movie. That's really neat. Now, counterintuitive to what I would usually think, it seems like they would build the feet first, but they usually go for the torso first, and then the head, and then the feet. So we'll see if the build is the same way for EVE here. Now these are stud height. So I'm not sure why they decided to make some pieces that are the height of 2 studs. That's very interesting. Now here's a smart addition. Because Eve's head is normally floating off her body, they added the transparent studs to convey that. Okay, now because Eve does not have feet, we are adding these 4 pieces to show the conical shape on the bottom of her torso. And of course, here's the clear piece to show that she is floating. Here we go. Now on to Eve's head. This piece is stuck here. There we go. Now, this part will be Eve's head, but I found it interesting that they used pink bricks on it. Now, this giant brick in the middle is normally bright pink for the brain, but I saw they chose to make it a kind of a teal, greenish color. Maybe to represent the color of a circuit board. If that was the intention, I think that's a pretty clever idea. And we got some almost neon yellow bricks here. Very interesting combination for Eve's head. Oh, does she have a brain on top of the circuit board? Huh. Almost forgot this piece. Huh, maybe there's no rhyme or reason to it. She just seems to have random colors inside her head, just because they know it won't be seen after she's done. I guess we'll see if WALL-E is the same way. Yep, and with slightly slanted pieces like this, it makes it pretty easy for LEGO to convey rounded shapes. Now I'll assume this is the back of Eve's head, so I'll turn this around and put it on the back. Oh, I'm kind of eager to put the eyes on. I know where they go, but I'll be patient. And there's Eve's head. I love how they added the glowing effect at the end to show when you're done. And I believe Eve is complete. Interestingly, it seems they have a special addition to the base itself. I don't remember that being on previous BrickHeadz. Although I noticed that Eve has 4 studs on the bottom of the floating thing, and this base is shortened to have only 2 studs, so I guess it's easier to remove Eve from the base. They wanted that to be easier. But in that case, it looks like Eve is completely done. I think the floating effect looks pretty cool, especially around the neck, because you can barely tell it's there compared to the stark white contrast. And they did a great job of making the head rounded. A little less on the back here, but that's okay because you only see the front. And the screen looks rounded as well. There we go. And I can't believe I just noticed this now, but it seems on newer LEGO manuals, they have a progress bar on the bottom to show how close you are to finishing the entire build. Yep. So we'll look out for WALL-E's head, see if it has the same random colors inside. There. I hope this bent manual doesn't affect me being able to build and see the instructions. Oh, not this one yet. This is WALL-E's special piece, of course. Now we are currently building WALL-E's torso, and it looks like what's inside of that is this brown cylinder, which I think is pretty clever because WALL-E uses his torso to compact trash, so of course he would have trash inside his stomach there. And here's the special piece. Now, important clarification, Lego is notorious for it being difficult to be able to tell whether you're using light gray or dark gray. So I always look at the brick itself to see if the exact piece matches, and there's a slight difference here. This one has the little bump coming out, and this one does not. So I'll use this one because this matches the manual. And this is, in fact, movie accurate to WALL-E. He has the screen on his right side, and he has a metal grate on the left side. And the torso is complete. Nice and small and simple. But looking at the progress bar, we are far from done. Ah, little stubby arms there. And it looks like we're going straight to his treads. That's one. Now I'm going to reverse this just because I want the Lego logo facing the correct way. And there we are. There we go. Bit of a tight fit, but of course it's Lego and is perfectly cut, so it works. Now, interestingly here, it seems that WALL-E's treads don't actually have a grip to them, so they added these clear pieces that are not meant to be there, but are only there to grip onto the base itself. Now, I'm guessing this is unlike most BrickHeadz, but WALL-E has a neck mechanism. Little adjustable piece here that clicks into place. a very precise head assembly. Now it's shaping into his head a bit more. And here's some other interesting pieces. This can be made with a bunch of bricks, but I guess they chose to make it into a single brick that contains everything without having to build it. There. This really shows the shape of WALL-E's head very well. Interesting. His eyes are extended out a little bit. Of course, make sure it's facing the correct way. And there you go. Let's make his head back to normal. Okay, interesting. His head cannot turn, but it can look up and down at 2 different points. But I suppose none of the other BrickHeadz have their heads turning. You can't forget WALL-E's little lunchbox. Or, my favorite detail, the plant in the boot. And it seems to have some extra pieces that we can build a second plant in the boot if we want. But we're not done yet. So just like Eve, WALL-E has a custom overlay on his base because he has a unique stud structure underneath him. And there we are. WALL-E is complete. Oh, interestingly, this manual did not have the entire list of all pieces included, but this one does. And that is the conclusion of the WALL-E and EVE BrickHeadz.